It has been a week since ZZZ launch. I have played this game multiple times during the stream and obviously some time off screen. During that time I managed to get to the account level 20 and experience the majority of functions that game currently have. So it's finally time to form a final opinion about the game. Let's discuss all the bad and good things that game currently have and maybe suggest some improvements. Hi, my name is Ani, please leave a like and subscribe and let's get started. So let's start with the bad things. I know you like the bad things. The main problem about ZZZ for me was actually before the game launch. During the pre-download phase, I couldn't download this game on my PlayStation console because developers decided to hide the pre-download feature behind the paywall. Yep, it is a fact, you actually need to pay $10 in order to pre-download free-to-play game. In my opinion, this is unfair and scammy, and I don't understand the decision making behind this. This feature should be free, period. I just feel like not much people is talking about it. The first thing that you notice in the game when you log in is actually good music. I literally don't need a background music in my streams anymore because it is so cool. It's dynamic, it's energetic, it's memorable. However, it's really cooked with the music. Heck, it can even be a good background music for the videos. So I'm waiting for official release of all the game soundtracks. Now let's talk about less pleasant thing. In my previous video about ZZZ, where I pointed attention that the overall popularity of game is relatively low compared to other games in the same genre, people in the comments decided to point my attention to the amount of pre-registration. Yes, we cannot deny the fact that the number shown on the game's official website is pretty big, but I would take that number with a grain of salt. First, we know that Hoyo games still suffer from severe botting problems, to the point of deleting HSR accounts that were inactive for a long time. Bots do exist for any upcoming gacha game made by big and famous company, and there is actually a chance that someone is trying to make an artificial hype around the game. Second, developers in their own live stream haven't mentioned the amount of pre-registration at all, which means that they also take in that number with a grain of salt. So if developers do not care, why should I care? Now let's talk about the user interface, because you will see it a lot during the game. You can clearly see that game developers was inspired by Persona 5 games or maybe their own Honkai Impact 3rd game. The colors are highly saturated, bright and neon, which can be good for paying players' attention into important things. But for me, it's kinda overly saturated, you know? Too many bright colors can be bad. But oh my god, the amount of pages inside pages inside pages, I cannot. I cannot. It was hard for me to understand in the beginning what was going on and what do I need to pay attention at first. But my main complaint in this topic is about icons. They're supposed to be easy to understand and intuitive for the player. So I will suggest you to play a game with me where I will show you the game icon for 3 seconds without any context, and you will try to guess which user interface page that item belongs to. Are you ready? Yeah, it was a little interactive part of my video. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments how many points did you get. Now let's talk about the story. The lore of the universe is pretty good. I like the cutscenes, I like the small comics. It looks fresh and interesting. But I need to be honest with you, the majority of the information that I received about ZZZ is from videos made on their official YouTube channel. It's so hard for me to follow the story delivered majorly by dialogues. And even though developers made a skip button so the players can enjoy the gameplay more, not all of the dialogue options are skippable. Quite often, it's a combination. First, you will receive the content that is skippable, then you will receive unskippable dialogues, and then skippable again, so you kinda get it. I do not understand. If you have already made a possibility to skip some parts of the dialogues, why you don't make them all skippable. It should be a choice. Not all of the players are interested in lore. Now let's talk about the characters. Developers already announced a lot of them for multiple patches ahead. They even made a YouTube video with all the information that players can expect about future organizations and maybe future playable characters. It looks interesting, and I know that they made the same theme for the Genshin. So I believe that the main plot of this and the Zone Zero is already written. They even made multiple character teasers to fire up players' attention and show some information about characters' personality and activity that they do, which made some players understandably uncomfortable. You see, visually adult, appealing and attractive characters become underaged lore-wise. I'm not sure what community Hoyo is trying to attract by this move, but this can definitely become a problem for our content creators who will try to cover these characters' information. Nowadays you need to be careful when you say that characters are pretty, because eventually you can be claimed inappropriate by the internet community. Oh, the internet people. But my opinion about this topic is simple. It's only a game, the characters are not real, you cannot harm them or offend them in any way. The main thing that you should pay attention is actually the character body type, not the lore-wise age. And finally, let's address the elephant in the room, the gameplay. Developers in their own livestream advertised the game as a combat-oriented. They even made a collab with the Street Fighters. But the actual combat in the game is basically button mashing. You don't even need to pay attention into resistance, elements, combinations. Just tap one button and everything will be killed. If you play on controller, the same as me, then you know that you don't even need to mash the button. You can just press square and character will attack non-stop. Yes, combat-oriented game, guys. And I was hoping that progressing in the game will make enemies more interesting or fun, but the only thing that changed is the amount of HP that enemies have. Don't know about you guys, but for me, this combat is kinda meh. All this conversation about game being combat-oriented looks like the scammy mobile ads for me. You know, the one where you see that player can actually affect the character's life drastically, but when you download the game you will receive something boring like Candy Crush or 3 in a row. Or collecting gems, whatever. I kinda have the same vibe with ZZZ Zone Zero. And of course, the core mechanic of the game is the TV screen jumping. During the CBT, these TV screen puzzles were highly disliked by players, to the point that Hoyo actually promised to make some changes into it. But I don't know, this still looks horrible and uninteresting. And it's actually not because puzzles are extremely easy, but because of the fact that the game decides to explain you every little thing that happens on the screen, which literally blocks your movement and stops you from solving the puzzles and actually stretches the time that you will spend looking on the screens. We do not need that many explanations. The mechanic is pretty simple. Please remove that. Or at least give me ability to move while he talks. And now let's talk about something unusual to Hoyoverse, the appreciation of players. During their livestream, developers gave us the code for generous 100 free pulls, which were actually not the characters' pulls, and announced that by playing the game, you can get a free 180 pulls for your characters. But the point is, you need to seriously grind to get that amount. I barely managed to collect 30 pulls while playing. For me, it looks like another false advertisement. I'm happy that Hoyoverse have good competitors right now and trying to fight with them, but these actions are not the one who will bring them players' respect and appreciation. And my overall opinion, I have a strong feeling that if it was not a Hoyoverse game, no one would care about ZZZ Zone Zero. There are so many good games in this niche, in this genre, and beloved by players, so creating a cute characters is not enough to be a competitor. Bright and toxic colors, over-exaggerated emotions of the characters, extremely easy gameplay. I have a strong feeling that the main target audience that developers are aiming are actually younger generations of players. But I'm sure that ZZZ Zone Zero will perform good at the launch and approximately for a month after it, the honeymoon phase. But it usually don't last that long, and if there will be no changes or no interesting and unique new features that developers will add, then the majority of players will be switching to other games. But we'll see. And for now, I feel overwhelmed by the amount of people saying that game gets better the longer you play it. I can't force myself to play this game anymore. It's boring, it's uninteresting. I feel like I'm falling asleep when I play this game. I liked something more challenging and more difficult. Even though the music is good, it's just not the game that was advertised. I do not really have hope that developers will listen to the players and make serious changes, because we all know that it's not in Hoyo's style to do such things. But I would genuinely be happy to be proven wrong. I want to see more good and fun games to play. But for now, thank you for watching my video. Please leave a like and subscribe, visit my Twitch streams, and see you in the next one. Bye bye!